Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this pre-recorded live, well, it's not really a live stream. This is a pre-recorded tutorial about doing maps with Artrage on an iPad. This is last generation iPad, the one they released last year. And this is the one compatible with the iPad, the Apple Pencil, the previous generation. I thought it'd be kind of fun just to do this, just see how it goes and how people feel about it. This is our current canvas settings with 2048, height 1536, scale depth, all right there. Also, paper colors are green, opacity 0, and we are going to up the scale to 0. And we're not going to record anything. We'll put it in the gallery. Just hit done. Creates the painting. And let's go into our settings. And we're going to go into our preferences. Stylus. Okay. We're going to put reject touch on. So that if I touch this, it won't do anything like that. Okay, so let's orient this with our fingers, and we're just going to get started here. We're going to take our ink pen. We're going to set it maybe a little bit higher, maybe 9%. Going to go black, and we're just going to start getting our basic land out. Maybe move it a couple times. Just something a little rocky. I'm just doing this. No pre-planning. No crazy. Nothing crazy today. Just a basic little continent here. Maybe the size of Australia or China or India. Just something fun to explore with. Maybe an ancient world set off from anything else that just so happens that the other nations of the world discover, or this is where all the nations are. Maybe they're set up, or the remnants of a disaster, and this is where they fled to. I kind of like that, so that they can go out and explore what was left of the world. Kind of making another little broken island. So we kind of have a little continental split there. Kind of hear the pen going. Okay, now we're over here. All right, cool. Now we're here. Maybe let's make an archipelago right here. Just a little, volcanic mountain that went kaplowy. Not too big though. This is where all the nobles live or something. Best farming merchant groups, maybe. Maybe we'll just put some in here like this. Make this interesting. Okay, that's not bad. Just something fun. Okay, what we're going to do next is we're going to go to our fill bucket. Going to go into the settings. That's these gears right here. We go to presets, fill. Okay. Blend mode, normal. Yeah, cool. This is one of the first times I'm actually using it. Current layer only, spread. We don't want to spread too much. And let's just go for it. Uh-oh, got a hole there. We'll go back. Yeah, we got a little hole there, so we'll switch this out. Since we're down here, let's check. Yeah, right there too. Some of these I'm just going to fill in by hand. It'll be a lot quicker if I do that. What we're doing with this is we are creating a base for our maps. Now, any Artrage product, be it on your iPad or your phone, behaves relatively the same. There might be some different functions, some different presets that aren't available on them, or some different functionalities. However, the basic underlying program is always the same. It allows paints and material to behave in a physics engine and a lighting engine very realistically. So if you drop oil paint onto the canvas, it's going to behave like oil paint. If you drop water paints or acrylics or crayon or anything else on there, it's going to behave relatively the same. Graphite from a pencil. So it gives you very realistic. Gives you a very realistic feel for what you're doing. Now on top of that, Artrage also, there we go. Artrage also keeps track of how much mass is on the painting. Meaning, if I am applying a certain amount of, like if I apply a lot of, let's say here, let's just make a demonstration. Here's my basic canvas. If I apply a huge amount of, like, let's say oil paints, it's going to keep track of how much oil paint that I put on there. And then let's say I put some additional oil paint on there. Whoop! It's going to keep track of that. And let's say I put something else on there. It's going to keep track of that. And we're going to use that effect in this to actually carve out the topography of this world. To do that, we've got our base here. Now we're going to go into our layer. We're going to go into our layer options, and we're going to lock the transparency. And we are now going to, like I said, go into our big brush. I want to see if this will work. Okay, it keeps it at 100, that's fine. So we're just going to go and kind of a neutral green. We are just going to start dumping. I mean, this tube of paint, let's go to the settings. Yeah, size, pressure is large as we can. No presets, tubes. Yeah, we're good. We're just taking this giant tube of oil paint and we are just squeezing the crap out of it and applying it. I guess had it upside down. That's hilarious. We go with that. We are just applying it like crazy to the painting. Actually, I think I like it this way better. Yeah, I like it a lot better this way. Doesn't make it so top heavy. Gives it kind of some structure and balance. And now I'm just going to kind of do little circles around. Follow these circles in. Just add a ton of mass to this. Just like that. Now, normal landscape isn't a bunch of, snaky bottoms here. So we're going to go into this is our knife tool on the side here. We're going to go here, and there's a bunch of different settings here. The one we're going to use right now is called Harsh Chaos. We're going to keep it at 100. And we're going to very lightly go in here, and we're just going to, with a little pressure, go in and we're going to sculpt this out a little bit. And just snip that out. Well, just kind of run a texture over. You notice when I'm coming up on the coastlines, you're getting a different color. That's the canvas color I set previously. wanted that color to, since the layer is locked, that's kind of peeking through. That's a good thing. We definitely want that. I am, however, going to change the color of this. It's really quite green. So my tool for that is actually my airbrush. My settings on this is always pressure at 100% for this if I'm changing color at this point. Going to come in kind of with grayish green. Color about past data. Not sure why that's not. Size, pressure, tilt angle. Yeah, I don't opacity off. I'm a smart cookie. All right. So we're gonna make this a little bit more neutral, greenish color. This will allow me not to think of this as lowlands. We're also going to add about 23% metallic. The metallic's going to interact with the real-time lighting engine and rendering engine in Artrage. And you can already see we've got some texture. So the next part of this is we're going to plan out some mountains. To plan out the mountains, I go back to my large tube O-paint, and I put it about 50%. And I come in with kind of a mountain color. Let's go with that. That's fine. We'll change the colors anyways. And I start dabbing. Let's actually bring that up to, I don't know. There we go. I kind of find some contours on this that have been created. I'm also thinking about the land. There's not going to be any mountains like here or here, because there's kind of been a continental shift. Definitely some here. Maybe this is like Hawaii, however you pronounce it. One due the respect it deserves. There we go. Again, I'm just doing little tiny taps on this. Little tiny taps. Making sure we get our archipelago. Just setting up the islands. Let's zoom in. And you see how some of these I'm getting. See how it's creating these high points on the map? We're now going to further enhance that by adding even more mass to that. This is glitter. I worked in entertainment for years, and we constantly joked that I hate glitter because it gets everywhere. It's impossible clean. We called it the herpes of arts and crafts. However, it's now one of my greatest tools, which I find absolutely hilarious. So be careful what you call your tools. What we're going to do, the glitter tool in Artrage is, let's save this really quick. We're going to use it to create even more mass. We're going to run it across these. And all those little high points, it's going to run over and create these really cool peaks, as well as an actual mountain range. There we go. Just like that. There's another one. And another one. See? Just doing that. I'm at 25% of the size. Now I'm going to lower this to about 10%, and we're going to make all the little offshoot mountains. Knock them off these. These will soon become our hills. And again, we're just adding texture on top of the layer we already did. You can, at this level, you can see there are hills and valleys, and then all of a sudden, yeah, squares. That's okay. We'll carve those out. Don't worry about those. We also have a video on YouTube where we use the desktop version of Artrage. This is kind of fast, but the main purpose is to show you can get the exact same outcome. Oop, come back here. You can get the exact same technique, and you can get the exact same outcome on a tablet and on a phone that you can with Artrage. Okay, we got our mountains done here. Now let's go ahead, and we are now going to we're going to blend this in. We'll start with we go to our brush, not brush, but our knife, and we're going to find our instant blur. But instead of going nuts with it, we're going to drop the pressure down as small as we can. So anywhere below 10% for pressure and softness. And we're just going to run this very slowly over the mountain. You can already see, instead of squares, it suddenly becomes peaks. And again, I'm not pressing them very hard. I'm just going over it once. I don't know if you can see my cursor, but you can kind of see what's going on there. This is the first time I've made a video about using Artrage on the iPad. I probably should, well, I'll do a couple more. There's another one there, another one there. Checking if we're still recording. Yep, we're still recording. Cool. And you can already see we get this really cool mountain effect, okay? However, it doesn't match the texture and stuff, and that's okay, because the next step of this is we're going to now put in textures for this map. We're going to grab our eraser. We're going to grab our eraser, and we are going to dig really deep. Let's go into our settings for this. We're going to lower the pressure up the size to about 30, somewhere between 30 or 40%. Pressure down about the same, but the softness up. And we are going to start making high points and low points through this map. Now, this isn't where water goes. This is just where the land is low and high. Maybe we need a little, yeah, we need a little more pressure there. Okay, so pressure 62. Let's have a look at that. That's a little better. Maybe a little harder. All right. So pressure high, but not too high. I'm not pressing really high with the. I'm not pressing really high with the stylus. But I'm just coming off these mountains because that's where the erosions take place. Bless you, buddy. Every time that save icon comes up, let's make sure we mesh that. Come down here. Come up here. And again, sky's the limit when doing these. I really like to bisect these coming down. Now, rivers generally don't bisect like this, going downhill, unless there's a huge, hard piece of land. However, it is common in areas with a lot of flash floods or with a lot of crazy rainfall. But for what we're doing right now, we're creating low points and high points. So it really doesn't, you just go with what you feel like at this point. Again, kind of with fantasy maps, I mean, the key is the word fantasy. Like Mark Twain said, you know, you want to get the facts right, and then you can just embellish them afterwards. Same thing about fantasy maps. Kind of get an idea of what you're doing, and once you get an idea of what you're doing, just go nuts after that. We're working on a campaign setting, and I've emailed a couple of physicists because there's some attributes in the sky, not physicists, but star people. Because I have questions about how this, you know, how certain things would work. There we go. Very nice. Very nice. All right. Now that we got that texture done, we're going to go ahead and we are going to go back to our harsh chaos brush. Oops. And kind of come down here. And we're going to start with our mountains. And very gently, we are just going to run, if you can see that, I'm running the brush around the mountains, just to the side of it, and cutting into those mountains. It's giving me this really cool, so I don't know if I like that. Hold on, let's see if another technique works. Okay, let's do the tapping around the mountains. Don't know if I like that either. Working with the new, we're going to experiment here, folks. See if we can get the desired. Let's try hard wet blend on this. Let's see if that works. Oh, yeah, I think we have a winner there. Now I'm just going to come in and tap straight down with my stylus. Around the mountains. Don't know if I like that though. Now let's go back. I'm trying to cut into these. I'm wondering what the best way to do that. Maybe let's go back to harsh chaos. What about a smudge? Let's go hard out smudge. That's kind of fun. Not what we want, but that's a really cool texture I like. Let's go back to harsh chaos. And let's decrease the size. Let's go to 50. Flat. Is this harsh chaos? Learn something every day. Very cool. So if I do a flat edge, what does that do? A little different setting than the desktop version. That's cool. You can change basically the attack of your edge. Wet. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Okay, I'm just going to run this. You can see I'm just coming down around the mountains. I'm just doing a back and forth and kind of cutting them out. Don't worry about going over any of the other little things that we did, because we're going to come back and mix things up a little bit more here. This is just getting rid of the big stuff. Kind of breaking these up and actually making them a little more realistic. So again, this harsh chaos, no dithers to the, this is at 50%, no weird settings going on. I'm just running the brush around the mountains, making sure we leave some of those peaks intact. That's really what we want. There we go. See? What we want there. All right. Now, let's further get some details. We're going to run the harsh chaos from the ocean up these erosion lines. On second thought, let's go and let's go to our instant blur. And again, we're going to size it up to 100% and make it very soft. Oop, maybe too soft on that. There we go, below 10. We're going to run it over the mountains one more time. You see that? Kind of takes the bite out of all that distortion. And we actually get a very, very realistic mountain. Cleans it up. So our next step in this is we're going into those little channels. Probably, yeah, let's do that too. Let's go ahead and blur this whole map up. Then we'll come in and texture everything. Okay. Mountains look good. Everything looks just peachy. So let's now come back to our brush. And, oops. Come back to harsh chaos. Yeah, I like it a lot. Maybe let's try blend, actually. Just pull the pressure off a little bit. I don't know about that. I think that's too hard. I need the dither. I need the texture that harsh chaos brings. Again, any of these tutorials, I'm gonna experiment if I think we can do something, because I think that's a key for any tutorial, that you need to know how to experiment. You need to know if you find something a different way. As you can see, we're just filling in. I'm not pressing them too hard because I want to keep that texture, but I also want to add a little something under there. So not too hard, but just break it up. Break up those lines like we did with the mountains. We're getting a very realistic texture there. Just in no time. It was actually on my iPad that I found Artrage. Both I was at church. I have really bad anxiety, and I was painting, and I discovered harsh chaos and a locked layer, and man, eyes bugged out right then. Okay, I'm coming in around the coastline. Well, not too much. Coastline's actually pretty cool, so I'm just going to, you can hear my stylus, I'm just touching. Just not running it by, I'm just very gently tapping. You can already see we're getting, zooming in there. All right, not too bad there. Let's save that. Yay! Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to do the rivers. To do rivers, we've been playing with this technique, and we're going to go with just a standard. Well, there's a certain way we're going to do this. We're first of all going to go up to a new layer. I want to make sure that I can do this. Might not be able to. Usually we invert a couple things. I don't know if I can with this. I don't think I can, so we'll kind of wing it. So we go up, we're going to go and to this, we're going to unlock this in our layer. And we're going to use the pressure of our stylus to actually do this. Okay, we're going to start down here, and we're going to push. Oh, it's got some softness. New softness. Pressure up, size. Relative. No, let's go, I don't know, 8. There we go. So we're going to start with 8. And then we're going to come down and we're going to reduce it. To 4. And we're just going to use the pressure of the brushes to create that tapered look. We're not going to do too many rivers. You know what, in fact, let's start up here with really small ones. New technology, new technique, right? So we're going to go 5. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. That's good. Let's do that again. Let's start at 3. Then we'll follow it over with 5. Maybe down here. And just a couple little rivers. Make sure we're tapering them as much as possible. Trying not to put pressure. Following the what we did before. A little lake there. There we go. Put something else here like this. Yeah, something like that. Maybe a couple more. Maybe up here we have another little offshoot that just goes over and over. Maybe this one goes here. Make them really small. There we go. Maybe, yeah, we got one here. One here, one here, one here. Finish them off. Oh, I have to get these. Okay, not too bad. All right, what we're going to do next is we're going to start coloring this. Just going to finish up some of the. There we go. So let's go ahead and lock the transparency on that. And now we're going to go to our brush, drop the pressure to about there. And we are going to start in the mountain area. Maybe with the mountains, we're going to keep that dark color. We're going to come in with kind of a lighter brown and just kind of hit around them like this. Kind of as a fill. Now we'll come back with some greens because this is a very lush little continent. But we want to start out with kind of a, around the mountains, just kind of a dark, kind of a, this is the strata that's under it. Again, the airbrush very much feels like an airbrush if you ever used one of those. Of course, the airbrushes I used were a little bit bigger than like a model airbrush. Mine were for, sets that were 50 feet by 190 feet. Little things like that. All right, and then we're going to come in with the green, find a nice kind of neutral pastel-y green. And we're just going to come in here and just very gently start filling in down here. Kind of come up into the rivers very lightly. Kind of see what blending we get on this. But also, we've got some highs and low area that have naturally formed. So let's keep an eye on those, because we really want those to stick out. See, like right there, those hills and stuff. We're gonna come back. We're gonna come back and mess with those here in a second. Okay, have that swatch in there. There we go. Just kind of have fun with it. All right. Next, we really want to highlight these kind of raised areas with a different color. See these hills and stuff? We don't want to totally cut those mountains off because we have all that really cool strata that's going on. So let's go ahead and let's grab something a little brighter. Something not as jarring. That's good. That's good. Let's add that to our swatches. We're just going to hit these higher areas with this yellow. Not too much because it's a yellow. So look at that. Maybe more of an amber? That's better. Let's try that. Again, very gently with this color. You see all the hills we've made in this? You just want to kind of highlight those. Kind of rely on the color mix we've already done. We've got so many little pieces on this map that it's high areas and low areas. We might come in once we're done that yellow is kind of startling, so we might come back with that green and tone it down, but maybe not in some places. These ambers areas represents places where it doesn't get as much, a little higher. Faster drain off. Then we're in here, in here, in here, down in here. See? Here, and we're doing some more. Okay, not bad. Not bad. Let's go ahead and blend these a little bit better. I think we're going to go with kind of a lighter, boring green. I'm just going to pull up from the ground. Just light, I mean, just hit these very, very lightly. And again, I'm focusing at the bottom of these yellows. I wish you could see the stylus and what I'm doing with that. I might figure out a way to rig a camera so you can see the stylus, how I'm doing this. Okay, that's looking really good. Okay, let's clean up our mountains a little bit. With that green. Whatever. But yeah, alright, little map's coming along. You can see every hill feature and anything like that. Let's go ahead and let's start adding some of the pressure quite a bit. And we're going to reduce this to like, I don't know, 9. We're going to start on these mountain peaks. We're going to go in and with our stylus, we are just going to, at the top of these mountains, we are just going to add some snow. We will always assume that we are doing maps in June or a June type season. As you can see, that's creating the map really causes the map pop. And I'm only doing it on areas that are quite definitely higher than others. I'm not connecting them. Got this really cool little thing here that just kind of popped up. Kind of like this giant cinder cone that went kaplowy. Yeah, same thing over here. Maybe these mountains down here have a little bit too. Why not? Might reduce color because it's looking like a giant bruise. I like bruises, but not on my maps. Well, some of them. Yeah, doesn't look too bad. Looks actually really good. Let's keep going. Now that right there, I just made a decision that there was a rain shadow right there. I only did one side of the map. Very best tool for realistic maps. Get yourself onto Google Earth as quick as you can. Get on there and just trace. Get a screenshot, take it into your favorite program or Artrage, and trace. Develop that hand-eye coordination for all those little hills and stuff, and you will definitely never be disappointed. All right, that looks good. Let's go fix these mountains. Guess I don't like that yellow. The yellow's kind of crap in my style. So we're going to get rid of it. Yeah, it feels better. We'll come in with the green. And darken it up. But yeah, that yellow was a mistake. My bad. But by keeping it, we kind of have a nice little variance. See? It's feeling good. A little pastel that we don't like, but it's working. Probably get that green we had and pull it into these a little bit better. So we'll err on the side of going Yeah, we'll pull that dark green we had up into the mountains a little bit more. Let's get some darker brown here. There we go. See that? Nice and safe. Everybody's happy. Pull that color down from the mountains a little bit. Your heaviest sediment, heaviest and hardest rock's always going to be kind of a darker color. Then the wind will sand, and you'll get the lower hills that are there you go. I'm actually really liking that. Finally. Then we're going to come in here and we're really going to detail the crud out of this. I'm just going to move this green to every little nook and cranny I can. But I get overzealous. Respect the high places. See the difference right there? Just very lightly running the green where I think it needs to go. Like right here. See? Maybe right down here. There we go. That is a fun map. I like that a lot. Let's do a couple more things. Let's go ahead and add another layer. We already had one, so let's go ahead and we will move it down here. Come to this layer. Grab your old paint bucket. Boop. Get a kind of a nice, no metallic in that. Maybe, that's not a bad blue. That's not bad blue. Paint bucket. Oh, geez. What have I done? Okay. That's good. No, get out of there. You're scaring me. All right. Then we're going to go in here and we're going to use this guy, our little pastel. And let's go with the soft chalk. Let's go with a big soft chalk. And we are going to just splatter it. I'm just going to follow through where stuff is. We'll do forest a little differently on this. The iPad version, usually what we use is a sticker spray. The iPad version doesn't have that. However, we'll be using something a little bit different. Again, make sure there's nothing, that we have a consistent border around everything. Okay, and then we're going to come back to our brush. Excuse the noise. The kids just got home from school and I had no way to mute this. Then we're going to take our harsh chaos and we're just going to go around the edges of this. And we are first going to use our harsh chaos and just kind of go around here and break up everything. And yes, I do work at a home office. Okay, now that's done. We'll go back to our knife. No, that's not our knife. That's our knife. And then we're going to go into our instant blur. just going to go ahead and blur those lines down. And this time, though, I'm not going to do round circles. I'm just going to go back and forth sideways. That's kind of giving me a cool little effect there. There we go. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and save that. Now our forests, we're going to have to do something we're going to have to be very careful with our forests. We are going to have to go in and we're going to use our glitter tool, and we are going to have to choose a specific preset. Where is it? We're going to go with fine sparkles. We are going to increase the size of them to right about there. Pressure up. Glitter size not too big. Okay. Size is about 20, but we want a lot of pressure. We're going to go with a greenish blue. And once we're done with that, we're going to zoom really tight in. Actually, that's not. Let's try this. Let's go a little darker with those. And we are just going to very gently, need a lot of metallic on these. Just gonna put just a little, stagger a little bit, not too much. That's gonna give us a little bit of forest imagery. Once we get this forest done, we're gonna be done with this. Again, remembering where a mountain shadow is, our rain shadows are. Again, I'm just kind of going where I feel like. Just using the glitter tool wherever. Really dig this mountain right here. I'm trying to stay away from the rivers though. Looking back at this, I probably should do the rivers last. And actually, there's another thing we could do with the rivers that make them look really cool. And I think we're going to do that before I end this. Actually, there's a river right there. Because we're going to cut into those rivers a little bit. Down here, we have this mountain area. A lot of cool texture that I'm totally going to draw over. Hit some of these islands with some forests. Not too much, though. All right, let's have a look at that. See? Not bad. Maybe up here, maybe over here, maybe along that river. All right, one final effect we can do. Actually, let's leave it like that. I'm really digging this. We've got a pretty cool forest there. This has been very successful. We'll get better at drawing maps on the iPad. This has been a good start. I'm going to play with some things, get some different techniques to, complement this type of technology. But all in all, this has been a very wonderful little demonstration, I think. Let me know what you think. Subscribe. We're on Facebook at Avant Novus. We're on YouTube at Avant Novus. We're on Twitch at Avant Novus. And of course, visit us online at avantnovus.com. Also, like to thank Artrage for noticing us, giving us a gigantic. They helped us out a lot. They promoted some of our early streams. They've been great friends, and we'd just like to thank them. Also, we have a special coming up a little later this week about our 3D models and 3D printing. Look forward to that, and we will talk to you later. Thank you, and have a great day. Exit music.